Hello everyone, it's me Con from C from Gaming back again with another Unscripted Memories. Last time we talked about something I was into, which was the arcade I visited. And that complements the episode after the one that premiered just recently, the Best of 2010 episode, pretty well. So my next episode, which is based on an arcade game, kind of complements that one. This episode, on the other hand, complements a bunch of episodes, and not upcoming ones. Whatever old ones I made, I want to go back and talk about and just, say what I would have done differently, stuff that aged badly, I don't like at all, that I may have even removed outright, so I don't think I've actually done that yet, but I would have if I could have. So with all that said, as May comes and it gets warmer and hotter here, let's just talk about the past and eternal memories in general. Though I do have a thing to talk about on Unscripted Memories episode, so let's just go with that first before we get to the Eternal Memories ramblings and what I would have done differently. So I don't remember when the first episode Unscripted Memories got made. It might have been made in 2017. I think it was, yeah. Because 2016 is when I started doing this besides the Mystery Dungeon retrospective. And 2017, I did an unscripted series to complement my normal series so I could still do something in the summer because I just wanted to talk about stuff instead of going on a break in the summer with no content at all. I mean, of course, my unboxings are things I do all the time and still will do no matter what the schedule for the episodes are, but unscripted stuff is fun to do. So, for unscripted memories, I only have 2 episodes I want to talk about and how I have done them differently, and the first one is the debut episode for Unscripted Memories, some YouTube inspirations. I don't know how many listed, maybe 5, but there are some YouTube inspirations I listed as people that inspired me to do YouTube the way I do it, and just I enjoy them on YouTube and still like to watch the content a lot. I don't remember the full list, but I do remember that most of them I pretty much still watch to this day, even the ones that have been inactive for a while, like When We Game, who I still miss, but I did know that she's okay in life now, just retired from content creating, and she has a good legacy. And Tamashi Hiroka, or now Tamahiro as she calls herself, even mentioned the recent episode that When We inspired her, which is what I assumed when I did my retrospective on YouTubers I recommended you guys. And that were my inspirations. But one YouTuber I defended back then, and maybe even I didn't, I don't really remember. 2017, it would have been after you know what of US politics, so I probably was dismissive of him then. But I'm more so, and that's one of my inspirations that I honestly am kind of sad I considered one. The Bit Block. Yeah, in the first episode, I mentioned that he was a big inspiration for, just being honest and giving feedback on games in general through reviews and whatnot. I liked his Fold series where he played games with a friend. It was pretty good, and I watched his 3DS content 2011 because I was hyped for the system, and it was a good channel back then. And I do remember some, minor downs. He didn't like stuff like Xenoblade having internet get mad at him because how dare you not like this critically acclaimed game that doesn't, not everyone is gonna like. But it got really out of control, and I stuck by him until like 2016 out of stubbornness and just being a dumb teenager, really. I probably should have gone out around 2013 when he got more arrogant and just rude to people in general who didn't agree with him. Not just because they were being rude to him all the time, but just because he was so defensive. And I'm a lot defensive at times too. But now I know that it's not the way to act, and he's over like maybe 10 years older than me and still doesn't know how to do that. But needless to say, he's gone off the rails. I think I mentioned this in my video. I haven't watched the episode in years, but I think I mentioned in that episode that I lost respect for him because he started throwing tantrums not getting Nintendo review copies, and it got really cringe-worthy, to say the least. And, I still stuck by him because, I was an upcoming review, and I thought, I don't get review copies either, I'm with you, even though I know now why I didn't, because my site was small as shit, and no duh, they focus the bigger people that get the word out better, negative or positive. But Josh got more off the rails in 2016 and in 2017 when the little meme of a president that's now an ex-president got nominated, and he just went mask off and started being racist, like openly racist and nasty and just out of control. One time he spoiled the ending of the Federation Force, like on launch day, without any efforts to market because he's like, I need to save the Metroid fans from the franchise. And I'm like, dude, it's a first-person shooter. I have always hated all the Prime games because they're first-person, and you don't see me do that. So I thought that was kind of immature, and then he just got more and more and more off the rails and just lost it. And I'm like, I liked when he was happy-go-lucky and focused on fun, honest content, but now his honesty is more an excuse for him to be an asshole. And then recently, as after I made that video, he got more and more worse and is just outright fully racist, anti-mask, pro-insurrection, all that awful stuff, to the point that he basically got called out for so much last year, he finally retired from YouTube and is doing some weird thing with shoes and stuff. I don't know. I don't care. I haven't talked about about the guy in like 2 years because of how horrid he is, and I figured one of the things I want to do when I made an episode like this is just flat out say, well, I do consider him inspiration from his 2010-2011 days. I feel horrendous for thinking anything after that when he was more rude to people was worth being an inspiration, and I definitely never ever considered his racism an inspiration. So yeah, if I make the episode nowadays, I just wouldn't include him on the list. I'd include someone else like, well, so many other people that are better than him, because Jesus. It's sad when you look up to a YouTuber and they end up being a sex pest or a crappy person or just nasty. And Josh was nasty. But yeah, that's one thing I want to talk about with that episode, because I don't think it aged well, but not as bad as some other episodes I made, and overall, my list is accurate. The other YouTubers are great, they still inspire me, and I am happy that I'm making content, even if it's been hard with all my 2019-2020 stress, mental crises. But now I'm back in the swing of things, and hopefully I should be in normal state before long. The next episode I want to talk about, even though I said I only do one Unscripted Memories look back, is the most popular Unscripted Memories. And I'm doing it here, and I'm going to try an experiment. I'm not going to tag anything related to the subject in my video or even mention it in the description, because I want to see if YouTube tags do their magic based off my words, even though my voice is kind of hard to recognize, or if people are just so obsessed with this being good and bad that they will look up any method to boost viewership, which is a reason why I unlisted the video, but it's still up on my channel in the playlist, so, I don't want to waste my content. This is absolutely abhorrent. Thankfully, nothing's like that yet. But I unlisted it so it wouldn't be in search results, and so it wouldn't be my most popular episode, because it's one I didn't really want to be in. So in the summer 2020, I did a bunch of episodes looking back at the summer game presentations, because E3 was dead, and I had no E3 to cover, so I just did random game presentations every few weeks and talked about what I thought about them. One of them was for a weird system called Intellivision Amico, which is this family-friendly arcade throwback machine that is so off-the-walls insane, I thought it was parody at first. And I made a video because I did a little conference showing off games, and I mentioned that there were literally only 2 games I had interest in, and a bunch of them were other ones were crappy mobile garbage looking games. The console was expensive, the controllers looked weird and didn't seem to suit many games. It looked like more suit a Breakout, which is one of the games I liked in the trailer. And after I said that the whole event was weird and that there was this dead ass, I think it was 800 pages when I talked about, now it's over 1,000, it's gone worse. Atari age cult mentality of people worshipping the dude who's the CEO of the company because he wants to make them boomer gamers again. It's just a really weird ass story. A bunch of weird YouTubers I lost respect for, are shilling this system despite not owning a final unit or playing the final unit. It's really weird. They're attacking anyone who says anything negative about it. It's just really toxic, and I didn't want anything to do with it. And make matters worse, I even heard that recently, a few months ago, some weirdo with only 400 subs sexually harassed and got really aggressive against a female YouTuber who was I like family-friendly stuff, but this game system's not my thing. And he just went off on her, and now just, ruins the point of, family-friendly branding. Well, this dude that's a fanboy of the system is not family-friendly. So yeah, the system's a mess. I don't want to talk about it anymore. And I mentioned the comments because I had a lot of people that watched and commented. I think it's my most commented retrospective ever, next to Mystery Dungeon ones, both Eternal and Unscripted. And I'm My god. I didn't want to be this episode. I just want to talk about this funny game conference. And comments are fine, but like, I got dragged into a two-sided war I want nothing to do with, and so that's why I unlisted it, and that's why I'm making this follow-up, because I'm not gonna say, oh, I'm sorry, Tommy, I didn't like the system, but I'm not joining the haters. No. I'm neutral. I'm out of this fight. I am not anything to do with this anymore. I'm not taking any sides, doing any interviews, follow videos, anything on the stupid foot bath console, because I just don't want anything to do with it outside what I always said. Why? Well, right after I uploaded a video, I got a lot of weird nerds in my comment section defending the system and dislike bombing my videos, which was weird, because you think you'd want to work out why I don't like the system. And I already blocked the CEO before I made that video because he was off the rails, so I didn't have to deal with him. But it was just completely weird, and I got a bunch of people in my comments who rightfully are skeptical or outright hate the system, acting like I was a savior of sorts, and like pushing me up as like a truth speaker and all that weird stuff, and it was like really uncomfortable to me. And then I had this blog, I think I mentioned the video, that also eventually posted my video, which, okay, fine, people who want to see what other people think of it can see my video. And then that got weird, because like right after that they shared my video, they shared a video from a notoriously racist YouTuber who's like very vulgar, nasty, and basically attacks anyone with a Patreon because he thinks they're e-begging, even if they're so much as tip jars. So like, if that's the sort of crazy people that like get uptight about the system positively or negatively, I want nothing to do with that. So I decided to just make this statement and say, I'm not going to make an Amico Fall video, I'm sorry to say. That's drama chasing. I don't do drama chasing for views, and the fact this is my most viewed Unscripted Memories episode is really concerning to me, because that's a dark path I don't want to go on. And if this video ends up being like highly viewed because I mentioned it, I don't tag or do anything with it, I'm going to be concerned as well. So yeah, no more coverage of that thing. It's not an episode I wish I made. I kind of wish I just flew it offhand and made it untagged. But I still do stand by what I said. It's not worthwhile. I'm an arcade gamer. It doesn't appeal to me. It seems like misguidance is going to bomb, but that's my take. So now on to Eternal Memories. So let's go back to the first episode. Of course, the thing I'd do if I made a new version of it would be get rid of all the borrowed footage I used with permission and put in my own for my playthrough. That's common sense. I use borrowed footage because I wanted to talk about my dots but didn't have the means to, be on camera. And so I decided to do gameplay and edit on my iMac, which was very, very at the edge of bursting in terms of memory. So it was a rough and crazy journey, but I got that done. But I leave the episode up as is because it was the moment I broke out of my shell and started to not be so scared about just, gushing about games I liked or being on camera. And it got me into the more social mood I am on videos to begin with. So yeah, I'd edit all that out and it would probably be less awkward, but that's what I think of that episode. And in terms of other episodes I thought I'd change or would do differently, Bonk's Adventure. The episode itself and talking about my dots to game and being a fun PC Engine game, I like a lot. I still do to this day. It's still fun, a good game, a good video. But there was this one joke I made because I was a stupid teenager. Was I a teenager? Yeah, I was a teenager, 18, so yeah, I was technically a teenager then. I did a stupid joke where I called one of Bonk's power forms China Bonk. And you may be thinking, oh, well, he has eyebrows, of course that's a funny joke. No, it's not. My dumb teenage self, I guess, thought it was funny because I heard other YouTube reviewers say the same joke because funny eyebrows and it being a completely weird transformation. And yeah, I could poke fun at the weird eyebrows or transformation, but like, come on. With this whole virus happening and people being racist as heck because it makes them mask off, thinking about now and how a lot of people say, think about all the times you've been unintentionally or intentionally racist and see what you could do to improve, made me think, and I was like, wow, that joke is horrid, and if I could edit it, I would. But when I tried editing it with YouTube Studio, it would make a jump cut, and it would be really weird, and I don't want to re-edit the original source video, so I'm like, I'm just gonna put, if you haven't already seen it, a disclaimer in the description, because annotations don't exist anymore, that I do not condone that joke. I think it's stupid, and I will not do any joke like that ever again in any of my videos, and if I do, you can smack me. I literally give you permission to smack me with dislikes or comments and tell me to knock that shit off, because I do not endorse racism or want to be that way. Because I have seriously rethought about my behavior over the past few years, even though I've improved greatly from my childhood, which I mentioned in another video where I talked about bad behavior when I was an edgy teen and child, just in general. So now I'm like, God, even when I was more open-minded and more nice, I still did stupid-ass things I wouldn't do now. So yeah, that's one episode I changed, the offensive joke in Bonk's adventure, because I do not agree with that anymore, and it doesn't add anything to the episode. Next episode I do would be the DeviantArt episode. To be fair, part of me often thinks I should have never posted about to begin with, but anytime I think about that and watch it, I'm like, wow, this is a really good video. It's just, kind of touchy. So what I do nowadays if I made that would be, make it in one part. That was the original goal by splitting into 2 parts because of me wanting to just focus on one segment at a time. And I want to make a big combined video on VidMe later on when that was around. But VidMe was a horrendous website, and I'm going to make a retrospective on why that was and what happened to it soon. So, because VidMe died after I made the combined version, I never uploaded it here. So, technically I could do the combined version and upload it here, maybe unlisted, but I don't want to take from the views or engagement of the current 2 parts up now. Plus, I think the 2-part format may be better for people to ingest. If they only care about DeviantArt or only care about fanfictions, they can just watch whatever part they like the most. But, I don't know, I may just throw it in as a bonus in the playlist? I don't know, I'll think about it. But yeah, that's the one thing I changed. Next thing I changed is on the fanfiction front. Not much, I think I did a good job. I showed my cringy fanfictions, though I probably would have added more scenes from my older fanfictions before fanfiction.net. Because I found them on a hard drive, and dear God, they are worse than what I made on fanfiction.net. Because I was like 14 or 12 when I made those. So yeah, I'd change that for sure. And the DeviantArt episode, I probably would rewrite the script heavily and just outright tone down it even more. Because even though I made it as PG-13 friendly as possible, I still don't feel comfortable, showing it to everyone. My family's seen it, they say it's fine, but I'm just overly worried, because I refer to a thing I got into on DeviantArt, which I had to talk about somehow, because it's critical to my time on the internet, why I left it, why people kind of got creepy towards me. I called a certain kink the Kirby, because, it's a funny joke, haha, Kirby inhales everything, it's funny. I think I would maybe do something like that if I redid the episode, but the Kirby sounds kind of weird to say over and over again, and now I'm thinking that it could be seen as the wrong way or just something completely nonsensical, like I'm thinking, oh, that a Kirby dance, and I'm like, no, I wouldn't do that nowadays. That just seems kind of iffy to me, not a subject I want to go into anymore. In the behind the scenes on my Patreon, I actually went up and outright said the full name of the kink, and because people underage can see that, even though I did mention the episode that I was underage and I did the safe for work part of kink. Nowadays, I have a different view of kinks. I think kinks should not be done by anyone under 18 at all. Not on the internet, absolutely. And thankfully, a lot of the furry community, a lot of people in general are realizing that and are blocking minors. Now I do that too when I do my furry side on the separate part of the internet. I basically, everyone knows common sense and etiquette for kinks and stuff. And if you get into it long, don't do anything. Please know the boundaries. Like, I followed strictly until I was 18, not looking up stuff that was marked adults only. But the problem on the internet is, people don't mark that stuff, and even on YouTube, they don't do it, which is kind of concerning when I see violent videos in YouTube Kids, which is very, very disturbing to me. So yeah, nowadays I think I tone it down more. In my behind the scenes I made on Patreon, I edited all the terms out to be more PG friendly instead of PG-13. And overall in general, I just toned down the episode. But overall, I do feel it was a good episode that talked about more tougher subject. And it is a critical part to why I became a reviewer, because I wrote and wanted to get something done in my writing in life. I went down fanfiction.net, and that was a weird spot in my life, but it eventually led me to reviews, and I much enjoy reviews than writing for creepy people. So that's why I changed big time that episode. For the next episode, I think I changed. I think I only have one more, and that would probably be one of the later episodes I made in 2019. I think if I made the Recca episode again, I would have gone more in depth on the other Summer Carnival games. Because having dabbled with them through Shadow Whale memes with emulators and stuff, I realized that the ones in the PC Engine aren't as robust as I thought Recca was. So I don't think I'll ever do an episode on them individually. I may just do a mini episode or like an episode of all the Summer Carnivals that were remaining. Because there really isn't much to them. They're score attack games. And they don't play like Recca at all. On the bright side, I managed to get one of the people involved with the original Recca game to see my video, even though he couldn't understand what I was saying because he doesn't speak English. But he said, "Well, I'm impressed," or something like that. That was like, I'm happy that overseas fans like my game, and that was nice. Makes me want to do that more with other game series I make and videos I done. And while my attempt at interviewing Shinichi Wotomi has failed, I did manage to get a statement from Iwata Iyoshi a few years ago, who composed the original Mystery Dungeon games. I want him to see my retrospectives, but he couldn't understand English, so again, that didn't work. I just told him in an email, "You inspired me so much and helped change my life," and he said, "I'm so happy." And he did make a new album out I need to buy still, so I'm gonna, when I get to part 3.8 of Mystery Dungeon, I'm gonna go more hardcore on the documentary and history stuff, which I kind of wish I would have done with the original part 3, because that needed more context, I feel. And I'm going to do an episode like part 2, where I go over the pre-release of a game with Pokemon Pearl, because the new remakes are coming out this year, but I don't want to do a whole retrospective on the games themselves, just the hype I had, and them being the first games I ever pre-ordered. But yeah, Recca was a game that got attention from the original creator when I made my video, and I was happy about that. And I hope to do that more so with people who made games I talk about, so I can maybe get them in the comments, or like, sharing what they did and clarifying some things, or just being happy people like me still enjoy their games all these years later. I think that's why I made this show, besides wanting to talk about my memories, and just, it's fun to do. So yeah, that's pretty much it for this unscripted memories on games, and not really games, but episodes on games I would have done differently. 2 unscripted memories, a couple of atone memories, what I would have done differently, something I really regret, and just things that improve for the future. This was just an episode I figured I needed to get on my chest because I want to talk about it, because I was like, I don't want to make addendums to every single episode in comment sections no one would read. So I figured I might as well make an episode dedicated to addendums I do, so that way people would know I'm serious about changing up stuff and I really regret stupid stuff I did, like the stupid Bonk's adventure joke. Good God, why'd I do that? But until next time, bye!